Okay, this is daily system charge requirement. So divide the revised daily total system energy requirement. So this value, okay, divide this value by the system voltage SV. The system voltage, not supervisor. Okay, to get the daily system charge requirement in amp hours. So this is the charge in amp hours. Okay, of course you know this. This is AH. What is AH? Is the unit for battery capacity. Okay, standard unit for battery capacity that the modules we have to provide each day to meet the load requirements. Means that our module that we use must provide us this certain amount of ampere hours per day. So this module must be capable to provide certain ampere hours every day. So it's very critical. So this value can be determined. This one is coming from the watt hour, and this is volt. So that's why we get the AH in unit. So next, check within which month is the lowest mean daily installation. So this is called as the design months. Okay, design months. It used to size the array for standalone PV system. So why this is very important? So at least if we in certain amount, in for example in Pahang, in Terengganu and Kelantan, we are going to experience a monsoon season. Maybe it's around start from the November until January, February. So rainy season, the rainy season. So when the day is rainy, we all know that because the cloud is extremely formed on the atmosphere. That's why the sunlight is totally blockage. It's totally blocked by the cloud. Okay. Once the cloud covering the whole region of the land, so no sunlight can penetrate. So at the end, so the total solar radiance will totally degrade. So that month is used as a reference, as the minimum requirement for us. If something happen, at least if our design is capable to withstand on that month's load months, it should be okay. In other words, in this case, so I don't know which year, or we just get several data here. So in July, so this place experienced the lowest daily installation with 4.5 hours per month. So the design months will use 4.5 hours as the sunshine durations. Okay. So the PSH value here is using the lowest months, which is July. So all the design must be based on the months that has a very low daily installation, okay, or daily solar radiation, right? So next, sizing installation of battery and PV module. So there will be the calculation regarding the PV module as the battery sizing, okay. For example, this is about the sizing of the PV array. Let's say we have certain brand of the solar module in the left side. So this is the solar module here. Then let's say the power output is 100 watts and the VMPP, maximum power point of the voltage is 16 volt, and IMPP is 6.25, and the post-circuit voltage is 20, and ISC is 7 volt. ISC is 7 amps. Let's say we have this kind of specification of module. Okay. So we are going to design of the PV array sizing. So what we are going to find it first is the minimum watt peak. Okay, minimum watt peak. How to calculate? We just divide the total energy demand that include all the generation efficiency and also inverter efficiency that we have calculated before. So that's why we get, if you still remember, you get 745 watt hour per day. Okay, and then the sunshine hours, I just put 4 hours. Okay, in the previous slide they write 4.5, but it's okay, anything's okay. Let's say I just put 4 hours because the value in Malaysia for PSH is false. Okay, so we just divide it 745 before, then we get 186.25 watts. So this is the minimum watt peak that the module should have. Okay, what type of module we use after this, but the most important is to have the minimum watt peak. So any module is okay, then we must have 186.25. Then what is next? So next, then number of panel we can calculate easily. It totally depends on our module. Let's say here we use the 100 watt one, so 186.25 divide into 100 watt, then you get 1.8625 blah 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 blah. So we round it up 2 panels because they're asking you about the minimum. So minimum watt peak means the minimum requirement should have 186.25. So you cannot as lesser than this. That's why we round it up. Okay, for this case is round up, okay, to become 2 panels. So means that we need 2 panels, 2 pieces of panels with 100 watt rated module. Okay, right. So since you require daily is 745 watt hours, so the recommended SV is 12 volt. Okay, we know already. We have the energy demand here 745, and we get the system voltage is 12 volt. Okay, therefore, since the module VMPP is 16 volt, the module that we used just now is 16 volt, which is greater than the SV of 12 volt. Only one module is connected in series. You understand? Because I repeat, okay, because our system voltage is only need 12 volt, and the module that we use, the VMPP, the rated VMPP is 16 volt, means that 16 volt can be regulated to 12 volt easily. So that's why it's enough for us to have only one module that is connected in series. Okay, so the rest of the modules will be parallel. Okay, will be parallel. Maybe my spelling is wrong, but it's okay, so you can understand. Sorry for the misspelling. Okay, so because we have 2 modules, so means that one module enough for the series, so the other one will be parallel. So the arrangement of the module is 1 series multiplied with 2 parallel, which is at the end the total is 2 panels, kan? Okay, 2 panels. So means 1 series to provide the 12 volt, okay, enough because the VMP is 16. Then another one we parallel it. In other words, if I can write here, okay, this is panel number 1, and the panel number 2 is parallel, not series. Okay, like this. Then maybe this one go to charge controller. Okay, charge controller. Then we have the, maybe you have the battery, and this is the load example, for example. So means this part is parallel. Okay, parallel. Right. So next, after we finish the PV array design, after we consider the equivalent sun hours and count all the losses, so we proceed with the battery design. Okay. Choosing the battery, okay, choice of battery will be limited by what is on the market and how much you have to spend. Basically, if you have more money, then you can pay more money to the large storage capacity of the battery. If you have more money, then if you have less money, then you are going to choose the smaller size. Okay. So identify the available battery. This important characteristic that can fit within your budget. It's all about, normally you can Google anything, maybe in Amazon, in AliExpress, Shopee, or Lazada, RS Component, anything, any website. You make the various very basic things before you buy something, right? Then calculate the required capacity of your battery. Calculate the required capacity of your battery. The capacity of the battery required depends on 3 primary factors. Okay, there's several factors here. 1, the daily system charge requirement, AH, that must be supplied to the loads each day. So this is the value that we just calculate now. We have calculated before. So this is very important. Okay, next, the maximum, okay, number 2 is the maximum allowable depth of discharge, or DOD max. Okay, this is the deepest depth of discharge that is only allowed with the battery. Okay, let's say shallow cycle battery, for example, the car battery, and the car battery or the motorcycle battery usually cycle below than 20% depth of discharge. Only 20% is allowable for the normal lead acid battery used for the car and motorcycle. Okay, while deep discharge battery can regularly handle 50%. So this we call it discharge. Also, the term here is deep cycle. We call it as deep cycle lead acid battery. So lead acid battery is an example of the battery that can have more than 50% of DOD max. Okay, I'm talking about the lead acid battery. I'm not touched about lithium ion. Lithium ion maybe can go more than 80%, and sometimes 85, 90%. Okay, but for the typical lead acid battery, the normal lead acid battery 20%, but the deep cycle usually can go up at least 50% of discharge. Okay. Next, third one is the reserve storage factor, or the number of days of storage. Number of days of storage needed, we call it system autonomy or autonomy days. So this varies with site and is higher for site with cloudy weather. Actually, this is the value that we decide. For example, just now we get this value at the daily system charge requirement. For example, we need 100 AH per day. It means that in one day we need 100 AH, including days and nights use. But if we plan, because of the situation of that place, the location of that place, the environment, the weather condition of that place, then maybe you need system need battery that can withstand until 3 days, because sometimes we experience 3 days rainy season, for example, frequently on that new location for your installation. So that's why this autonomy day basically we decide. Or the question in the question, final exam or test, of course lah, we give you the number of days. Okay, so this the depends on if 3 days means how much is it. So 3 multiplied with 100, so you're going to need 300 AH of charge to supply for your needs for that 3 days, right? Okay, and then next, battery sizing and selection. Then we proceed for the minimum number of battery and mean battery. So basically, so this is what I'm talking about. So this is the battery requirement. Okay, this is the battery requirement. No, I mean the required capacity for your system. So this is the value that we get just now. If I'm not mistaken, is 745, and this is the SV 12 volt. Depends on the set of this, right? Then the OD max, let's say we have the normal deep cycle lead acid battery with 50%. So this is the 0.5. Okay, 50% equal to 50%. It's the same thing. Then this is the reserve storage factor or system autonomy. So let's say, like I told you before, 3 days. So this kind of value, then you get the required capacity for your system. Okay, for your design. Okay. So then you get, how much is the required capacity. Then after that, we are going to find the N battery parallel. So how much the number of battery in parallel connection. So parallel connection means you are parallel it. Okay, parallel. So this is the parallel. So this is parallel. So we want how much. Okay, how much parallel? So the C battery requirement, which is the required capacity, is just over the capacity of the battery. For example, you are going to have the 100 AH battery. It's the rated battery. When you buy it, they're going to write the capacity 100 AH, 70 AH, 200 AH. So that for our case, maybe from this calculation that we just divide into 100 AH and we get certain value. So that value, for example, if you get the value 2.3, 4, 5, 6, for example, then you need to round it up or down. Round it up or down. Of course, you need to round it up. Why? Because this is the minimum number of battery. You cannot get lesser than that. You must achieve at least 2.3 battery, which is 3 batteries. That's why you round it up. So the same thing, this one very easy. So N battery series is very easy. So let's say we have the SV is 12 volt. Then because the V battery you use most of the cases is 12 volt, that's why it become 1. If the SB is 12 volt. So this is the equation how to calculate the minimum number of battery. Okay, right. So the example here, let's say we have this kind of batteries here. So depth of discharge is 60%. Okay, 60%. Battery voltage 12 volt and the battery capacity is 20 Ah. So it's very easy to calculate it. So minimum required capacity of the battery. So minimum required, actually is the required minimum charge required capacity. Okay, required capacity is the total energy demand over the DOD and the voltage of the SB. So this is the SB, SB. Then multiply with this of anomaly. Let's say in this case they just put 2 days, so 2 days. That's why you got 207 Ah is the required capacity. Capacity for 2 days. Okay, for 2 days. So next, number of battery in series. Series again, series SV over the rated battery. Okay, 12 over 12, then you get 1. So 1 of 12 battery is enough to connect in series. Okay, alright. Next, number of battery in parallel. So parallel, remember parallel is about the capacity. So the required capacity calculated here 207. Then your battery, your battery capacity is 21 in the question. Then you get 9.85. Like I told you before, you must round it up. So we round it up, become 10 batteries. So round up. So 10 batteries will be sufficient to support 207 Ah at least. Okay. But if you round it down 9, we're not going to be sufficient to support the 207 Ah of required capacity. Okay. Which means that number of battery or the arrangement, the best configuration of the battery arrangement is 1 series and 10 parallel. So 10 parallel, 1 series, which total up 10 batteries. Okay, right. So next, determine the configuration of your battery set. So battery should be configured at the system voltage. Make a drawing of your battery configuration. So of course, batteries system voltage is about system voltage lah. The SV is in the 12 volt, 24 and 48, which is in the multiplication. The multiplication times in 12 volt times. Okay. Then small off-grid wave system usually use 12 VDC as the system voltage and 12 batteries, which is this one only for the required daily less than 1 kilowatt hour. Okay, 1 kilowatt hour case. So if 2 volt DC or 6 volt DC battery are used, they are configured in series so that their total equals to system voltage to 6. This is very common. Because most of the case, of course, we have the 12 volt batteries, but there's some batteries which extremely high capacity, but their voltage is very less, around 2 volt. But the capacities go, I think, thousands, 10,000, tens of thousands. For example, they have the 28500 Ah, which is 28,500 Ah. So at the time, usually their voltage is 12 volt, between 12 volt. So in order to support the 12 volt, so you need to parallel. So 2 volt, 2 volt multiply with 6, then you get the 12 volt battery, and so you get the 12 volt of the system voltage. So it's just the series one. Okay. Then next is the to choose the charge controller. Okay, before choosing a charge controller, so of course you need to decide the controller size, current rating, and decide controller features. Okay. So controller need to be sized according to the system voltage, 12 volt, 24 volt, 48 volt. Basically, all the charge controller sold in the system, sold in the market, in the Lazada, Shopee, AliExpress, Amazon, anywhere, they are based on the 12 volt, 24 volt, and 48 volt. This is very typical. Okay, typical value. So now it's charge controller design. So the controller must be sized to handle both the maximum short circuit current. Okay, remember the controller must withstand short circuit current. Okay, short circuit current, not only the IMP. because IMP is lesser than the short circuit current. So your design must consider the short circuit current of the PV module, okay, or your PV arrays. You must consider the IC. Okay, charge controller size range, of course, from 5 to 50 amps, even now 60, 70, 80, 100 or so. So many charge controller have the same charge and load output rating. For example, if 10 amps mean that 10 amps input and 10 amps output, mean charge current maximum from the module is 10 amps and the discharge current to the load also 10 amps. This is very basic. So when you see the 10A charge controller, means that so 10 input and 10 output. Okay. Determine this array color size, calculate the maximum short circuit current of the array and multiply it by 1.25. Okay, again, just now I said you don't consider IMP and IC, right? Okay. Next step, from that IC, again, we are going to multiply with the margin, which is 1.25. Because we don't know the real efficiency of the inverter, we don't know the real efficiency of the charge controller, so we just consider take the margin and another 25%. So means that from the IC that we get, for example, our IC of PV module is 6, then we multiply with 1.25 again, then because it been something. Okay, then determine the maximum DC load output current, calculate the maximum power consumption of all DC no AC appliances. So calculate for the DC load output current, calculate maximum power consumption of all DC for DC and DC. Okay, divide this by the system voltage to get the maximum DC load and multiply again 1.25. Means that input also short circuit current 1.25, and for the output also, if we get 10 amps, if we get 5 amps, we multiply with 1.25, maybe we get around 5.25, maybe 4.25 or 5.5. Okay, 5.5 amps like that. Okay, the calculation mean the input also from the PV module multiply with 1.25 from the short circuit current, and the output from our load current also we multiply again with 1.25. That's what we select the charge controller. Okay, so for example, we have the charge controller here. Okay, so the 60 is the VMP, so maximum voltage is referred to the VMP or the VOC, and then the maximum current is referred to IMP. Actually is ISC, so this is wrong. So this is about ISC and this is about VOC. So your design must be, this is wrong. VOC and the ISC. Okay. Then operational voltage here, this is the system voltage. Usually for the small size of the amps, 10 amp, 5, 10, 20, 30, usually they have both. They can support until 12 volt and 20 volt system operating voltage. Okay. So both can, okay. But for 48 volt, usually the price is getting higher, and the watt also, if I'm not mistaken, they can go 3 VA, 4 VA, or 3000 watt, 4000, 5000. A big size, usually they can go until 48 volt, right? So the MPPT, this is the MPPT charge controller. So of course, yes. But you know, so you still remember, we also have the what? Another one is PWM. Okay, not only MPPT but PWM also, right? So next, inverter design. So inverter design. So of course, if inverter is needed, if you want to deliver the AC load, that's why we need inverter. Same case with DC also, we need to multiply 1.25. Okay, total up AC current, you must multiply 1.25. Okay, as the margin. Okay. Then select desired inverter features. So decide desired features of the unit. Make sure the wave shape of the inverter matches the needs of your appliance. Do you understand what is this? So usually we call that as pure sine wave inverter. Okay. This is the tips. If you are going to buy the inverter online, please make sure search for these keywords. Make sure your search must include this pure sine wave. Okay, that's why, because they written here. Make sure the wave shape of the inverter matches the needs of your appliances. So find for the pure sine wave inverter. Don't just simply search for the solar car inverter or solar car inverter, and that one's usually the efficiency is sometimes very wrong. Even the output of the voltage also sometimes not comply with the standard one, 230, even sometimes less than 200, less than 200 volts for the case of Malaysia. Okay, so please find the words pure sine wave inverter when you are going to buy that inverter. Okay. Okay, for example, I have one example here. So efficiency, let's say 90%. Usually this one from the data sheet from the manufacturers. Okay, data sheet from manufacturers. So operational voltage is 20 volt, 24 volt. Again, this is again the not tips. You have to be very careful. Sometimes the inverter can be multi channel of the operating voltage. Sometimes they can go 12 volt, 24 volt, and 48 volt. Means it will automatically switch when you connect your battery. For example, if you connect your battery in parallel, only one. If you connect only 12 volt batteries and the rest you are parallel, means your system voltage is 12 volt, it will trigger to 12 volt. When you add another one, it becomes 24 volt, it will automatically trigger to 24 volt. They have that kind of inverter. However, there's certain inverter which fix 12 volt, 24 volt, and 48 volt. Means that if you accidentally buy this kind of inverter, for example, you buy 24 volt, but you have only battery 12 volt. What will happen when you connect to the inverter will not turn off until the day of resolution, okay? Until the end of the day. They are not going to turn on because the rated is fixed here, 24 volt. So what you are going to do, if you still want to use that, so you need to add another battery. So you need to spend your money again to add another battery, then the inverter will turn on. If you buy, because inverter is 24 volt, okay? So just be careful about that. Alright. So this one is very simple. So minimum nominal power rating. How to get the minimum power rating? So it's very easy. The total power demand that you need. Okay. For example, your appliances will use 200 watts. So you multiply. You divide into 0.9. Is the inverter efficiency. Depends. If the inverter C is 0.7%, then you divide into that. Then you get the 222.2 watt. Actually, the power that you need is not only 200 watt, but also 222.2 watt, because the power also dissipated directly from the inverter. That's why the inverter efficiency is very difficult to get 100 efficiency, of course. So 90% means 10% dissipated. Okay, dissipates away from the inverter. Okay, all right.